The homeless veteran holds out his cup and the millionaire spits in it. His 8-year-old son watches everything. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Winter in Chicago is brutal. The wind cuts like knives. The cold seeps into your bones. Harold Thompson sits on the sidewalk outside a luxury shopping district. He's 63 years old, Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient. His cardboard sign reads, "Homeless vet. Anything helps. God bless." Most people walk past without looking. Harold doesn't blame them. He's invisible. That's what happens when you're homeless. You disappear. Across the street, Preston Montgomery steps out of his Mercedes. Custom suit, Italian leather shoes, Rolex that costs more than most people make in a year. His son Ethan walks beside him, 8 years old, designer coat, private school backpack. They're heading to the toy store. Ethan's birthday is tomorrow. "Can I get the remote control helicopter?" Ethan asks. "If you want it, you can have it," Preston says absently, checking his phone. They pass Harold on the sidewalk. Harold tips his worn military cap. "Spare change, sir?" "Veteran down on his luck." Preston doesn't even slow down. "Dad, that man," Ethan starts. "Don't look at him," Preston says sharply. "Keep walking." "But he's a veteran," Ethan says. "He's a con artist," Preston says. "They all are." "His sign says he served in Vietnam." "Anyone can write anything on cardboard," Preston says. It's a scam." They reach the toy store entrance. Harold calls after them. "Please, sir, I haven't eaten in 2 days, just $1. Anything." Preston stops, turns around. Ethan thinks his father is going to help. Instead, Preston walks back to Harold, pulls out his wallet. Harold's eyes light up with hope. Preston pulls out a $100 bill, holds it up. "You want this?" Preston asks. "Yes, sir," Harold says. "God bless you. You think you deserve this?" Preston interrupts. Harold's smile fades. "Sir?" "I asked if you think you deserve my money," Preston says. I'm just asking for help," Harold says quietly. "Help," Preston repeats. He looks at Ethan. "Son, come here. I want to teach you something." Ethan walks over reluctantly. "This man wants help," Preston says. "But look at him. What do you see?" "A person who needs help?" Ethan says. "No," Preston says. "You see someone who made bad choices, someone who didn't work hard enough, someone who expects handouts instead of earning his keep." Harold's face flushes. "Sir, I served my country, and I pay my taxes," Preston snaps. "Which means I already paid for your service. I don't owe you anything else." He tears the $100 bill in half, drops it into Harold's cup, then spits into the cup. Harold stares in shock and humiliation. Preston turns to Ethan. "Let that be a lesson. Never give money to beggars. They'll spend it on drugs and alcohol. They don't want to work. They want to take advantage of successful people like us." Ethan's eyes are wide, horrified. "Let's go," Preston says, walking toward the toy store. Ethan doesn't move. He's staring at Harold. And the old veteran is shaking, not from the cold, from shame. "Ethan, now," Preston commands. Ethan follows slowly. Inside the toy store, Preston shops like nothing happened. "Pick whatever you want," he tells Ethan. "Price doesn't matter." But Ethan can't focus. He keeps thinking about Harold, about the torn money, the spit, the cruelty. "What about this drone?" Preston asks, holding up a $500 model. "I don't want anything," Ethan says quietly. Preston frowns. "Don't be ridiculous, it's your birthday." "I don't feel like celebrating," Ethan says. Because of that bum outside? Preston laughs. Forget about him. He's not a bum, Ethan says. He's a veteran. Alleged veteran, Preston corrects. You're too naive, son. The world is full of liars. You spit in his cup, Ethan says. To teach you a lesson, Preston says. What lesson? Ethan asks. To be cruel? Preston's expression hardens. To be smart. To not let people take advantage of you. He was just asking for help, Ethan says. And I have no obligation to provide it, Preston says firmly. I worked hard for my money. I earned it. He had the same opportunities I did. If he's homeless, it's his own fault. Ethan doesn't respond, but something shifts in his eyes. They leave the toy store without buying anything. On the drive home, Ethan is silent. That night, he can't sleep. He keeps seeing Harold's face, the humiliation, the despair. At 3 a.m., Ethan gets out of bed. He goes to his closet, finds his birthday money from last year, $300 in gift cards and cash. Money he's been saving for a new gaming console. He takes all of it. Then he goes to his father's study. Us opens the desk drawer where Preston keeps petty cash. Another $200. Ethan takes it, knows he'll get in trouble, doesn't care. He finds a backpack, fills it with granola bars from the pantry, bottles of water, a warm scarf. He writes a note. Gone for a walk. Back soon. At 4 a.m., Ethan slips out of the house. The streets are empty, dark, dangerous for an 8-year-old. But Ethan knows where he's going. It takes him 40 minutes to walk back to the shopping district. Harold is still there, curled up in a doorway, trying to stay warm. Ethan approaches quietly. Sir? He whispers. Harold jolts awake, confused, disoriented. Then he sees the small boy. You're that kid, Harold says. From earlier. Yes, sir, Ethan says. I wanted to give you this. He hands Harold the backpack. Harold opens it, sees the food, the water, and the money. His eyes fill with tears. Son, I can't take this, he says. Please, Ethan says. I want you to have it. Your father. My father was wrong, Ethan says firmly. What he did was wrong. You deserve to be treated better. Harold's hands shake as he holds the backpack. Thank you for your service, Ethan continues. My teacher says veterans are heroes. You protected our country. You deserve respect. Harold breaks down, actually sobs. I'm sorry I don't have more, Ethan says. This is everything, Harold whispers. You have no idea what this means. They sit together in the cold. Harold tells Ethan about Vietnam, about the friends he lost, about coming home to a country that didn't want him, about struggling with PTSD, nightmares, addiction, about losing his job, his home, his family. I'm not proud of where I ended up, Harold says, but I'm not lazy. I'm not a con artist. I just couldn't cope. That's not your fault, Ethan says. Your dad thinks it is, Harold says. My dad doesn't know everything, Ethan says. Harold smiles through tears. You're a special kid. Don't let the world change you. I won't, Ethan promises. As the sun starts to rise, Ethan knows he needs to go home. Will you be okay? He asks Harold. I'll be okay, Harold says. Because of you. Ethan walks home, gets there by 6 a.m. His father is waiting in the living room, furious. Where the hell were you? Preston demands. I went to help that veteran, Ethan says. You what? I gave him my birthday money and some food. Preston's face turns red. You stole from me? You have plenty of money, Ethan says. He has nothing. That's not the point, Preston shouts. You defied me. You went out alone in the middle of the night. You could have been kidnapped, killed. But I wasn't, Ethan says calmly. I was helping someone. That man doesn't deserve help. Preston says. Everyone deserves help, Ethan says. That's what Mom used to say. The mention of his late wife stops Preston cold. Mom always said we should help people, Ethan continues. She said that's what makes us good. Not money, not success. Kindness. Preston's anger wavers. Your mother was too soft. She was right, Ethan says, and you're wrong. Go to your room, Preston says quietly. Ethan goes without argument. Preston stands alone in the living room. His son's words echo in his mind. He thinks about his wife, Catherine, who died 3 years ago from cancer. She was kind, and always helping others, always seeing the best in people. Preston had loved that about her. Once. When did he become so cold? The next day is Ethan's birthday. Preston takes him to breakfast, tries to make peace. I'm sorry I yelled, Preston says. But you can't do things like that. It's not safe. I know, Ethan says. I worry about you, Preston says. I know, Ethan repeats. They eat in silence. After breakfast, Preston drives past the shopping district. Harold is there, same spot. But something's different. He's eating, has a new jacket, looks hopeful. Preston parks the car. Stay here, he tells Ethan. He walks over to Harold. Harold looks up nervously. Sir, I don't want any trouble. My son gave you money last night, Preston says. He did, Harold confirms. Best kid I've ever met. Preston pulls out his wallet. And Harold tenses, but this time, Preston doesn't tear the money, doesn't spit. He pulls out $500 bills, hands them to Harold. This isn't charity, Preston says. It's an apology. Harold stares at the money. Sir, I was cruel to you yesterday, Preston says. My son was right. You deserve better. He pulls out a business card. This is for a veteran support center. They help with housing, job placement, mental health services. Call them. Tell them Preston Montgomery sent you. They'll help. Harold takes the card with shaking hands. Thank you for your service, Preston says. I should have said that yesterday. Harold nods, unable to speak. Preston walks back to his car. Ethan is watching through the window, smiling. You helped him? Ethan says. You helped him? Preston corrects. You showed me what I'd forgotten. What's that? Ethan asks. That being rich doesn't make you better than anyone, Preston says. It just gives you more responsibility to help. Over the next few months, Preston follows up with Harold, makes sure he gets into the veterans program, helps him find housing, offers him a job at one of his companies, starting position, but honest work. Harold thrives, gets clean, gets stable, gets his dignity back. On Ethan's 9th birthday, Harold comes to the party. He's wearing clean clothes, has a job, has hope. He brings Ethan a gift, a hand-carved wooden helicopter. I made it myself, Harold says, in woodworking class at the center. Ethan's eyes light up. It's perfect. You changed my life, Harold says. I wanted to give you something meaningful. Ethan hugs him. Preston watches. I feel something warm in his chest, pride in his son, shame in himself, gratitude for the lesson. That night, Preston tucks Ethan into bed. You know what your mother would say? Preston asks. What? Ethan says. She'd say you're the best thing we ever created, Preston says. She'd be so proud of you. I miss her, Ethan says. Me too, Preston says. But I see her in you. Your kindness, your courage, your heart. He kisses Ethan's forehead. Never lose that, Preston says. No matter what the world tells you, stay kind. I will, Ethan promises. Preston leaves the room, sits in the living room, pulls out a photo of Catherine. I'm trying, he tells the picture. To be better. Like Ethan. Like you wanted. The house is quiet. Peaceful. Outside, snow begins to fall. Somewhere across the city, Harold is in his new apartment. Warm. Safe. Grateful. He looks at a photo Ethan gave him. The two of them together at the birthday party. He puts it on his nightstand. A reminder that one child's compassion saved his life, that it's never too late to start over, that kindness ripples outward in ways we can't predict. 5 years later, Ethan is 13. He volunteers at the Veterans Center every weekend. Harold works there now, helping other veterans transition. Together, they've helped hundreds of people. Preston funds the center, anonymously. Doesn't want credit, just wants to honor his son, his wife, the lesson he learned. One day, a journalist asks Ethan why he helps. Because everyone deserves dignity, Ethan says simply. Everyone deserves a chance. Even people who make mistakes? The journalist asks. Especially people who make mistakes, Ethan says. My dad taught me that. Preston watches the interview on TV, tears in his eyes. His son just credited him for a lesson Ethan taught him. That's grace. That's love. That's what it means to be truly successful. Not wealth, not status, not power, but raising a child who makes the world better, who sees people as people, who chooses compassion over cruelty, every single time. If this story moved you, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed an act of kindness that changed someone's life? Or been the recipient of unexpected compassion when you needed it most? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might inspire someone else to choose kindness today. If this touched your heart, please hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful stories about humanity and hope. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And share this with someone who needs a reminder that one small act of kindness can change everything. Thank you for choosing compassion.